We welcome everyone for this very special once-a-year festival of Sharad Poornima. In Vrindavan, even today, it is in certain ways the most special festival of the year, where each and every temple bring their deities into gardens and forests, courtyards in the moonlight, with beautiful offerings, beautiful songs, to celebrate this event. In Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, USA, the presiding deities are Sri Sri Radha Sharad Bihari, which means Radharani and Krishna who enjoys the full moon rasa dance of the month of Sharad. The 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam describes the Rasa Lila. In certain ways, one of the most popular pastimes of all the Vedic literatures, and also the most misunderstood. Srila Prabhupada and our acharyas have taught that Vyasadeva, the literary incarnation of Krishna, he compiled the 4 Vedas, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Samaveda, Atharva Veda. He expanded 108 primary Upanishads and many others as well. And then the Itihastas, the histories, the Mahabharata, including Bhagavad Gita, the Puranas, and extracted the essence from all this knowledge, all this history, all this tradition, and wrote the Vedanta Sutras. But in Badrik Ashram, in his home, while sitting on the bank of the Saraswati River, he was feeling an emptiness. And because he is Paradukkha-dukhi, he is seeing that another's happiness is my happiness and another's suffering is my suffering. And dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Ultimately, however happy we are in this material world, everything's temporary. The inevitable. By the power of time or the 3 modes of nature, there will be old age, disease, death, and rebirth. Adhyatmaka, adhyaivaka, adhibhotaka. Miseries caused by one's own body and mind, miseries caused by other living beings, and miseries caused by natural disturbances. That's the way the world is. So the only true happiness is to transcend the miseries of this world by realizing our own spiritual essence. Mamaivam so jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatan. That we're all part and parcel of Krishna. Nitya siddha Krishna prema sadhya kabuna. Love of Krishna is within everyone's heart. And a saintly person, when they see somebody is bereft of that love for Krishna, not in knowledge of the eternal nature of the soul, Satchidananda, they cry out of compassion. So out of compassion, Vyasadeva was feeling something empty. And then Narada Muni appeared, his guru, and told him, you explained in Vedas, you explained the absolute truth, but it's very, very mixed up with so many ways for people to find some better quality of life through artha, kama, dhamma, moksha, through economic development, through sense gratification, through piety, or through liberation. But you have not yet given a literature that exclusively explains the very highest essence of unmotivated love. And with this inspiration, Vedavyas wrote his commentary of the Vedanta Sutra. The essence of all knowledge in a beautiful form of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Dharma Parochita Kaitarva. That the very beginning he says that this scripture kicks out all subordinate or cheating religious principles. Anything less than the ultimate goal of unmotivated, uninterrupted, loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord is not going to be discussed here. Savai pungshang parodharmo yato bhaktirarokshije. Ahoitaki apratihata yayatma suprasidati. He tells us from the beginning that the supreme occupation or dharma, the supreme religion for all living beings, is that which brings about unmotivated, uninterrupted, loving service to the supreme truth, or Krishna. And in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there are such histories of such exalted devotees and their loving relationship with the Lord. The Pandavas, Parikshit, Shukadev, Prahlad, Dhruva, Ambarish, Arantidev, Hanuman, Vibhishan, and the culmination is the 10th canto. All these descriptions of pure loving service, and the culmination is Krishna, who appears in his all beautiful, all merciful, all loving original form. In the first canto, Ete Changsha Kalapungsha Krishnas tu Bhagavan Svaya. That there are many incarnations, many avatars, many ways that the Lord appears within this world over history to reestablish religious principles, to protect the innocent, to annihilate ignorance in the ignorance. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya chaduskritam dharma samstapanarthaya sambhavami juge juge. What the Bhagavatam claims, but the original, complete fullness of the absolute truth is Krishna, who's all attractive. And he descends into this world. And we read about Krishna's beautiful appearance in the world, his childlike pastimes, where he's a little baby crawling, learning to walk. And as soon as he starts walking, he's stealing butter from gopis. And meanwhile, every day or so, he's killing some gigantic asura. And his beautiful Sakyaras Leela with his cowherd friends. And the very culmination of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the crescendo of all truths, of all knowledge, of all scriptures, is in these 5 chapters of the Rasa Leela. Now, before we give a brief outline of the Rasa Leela, let us understand its nature. It is the highest revelation of the pure, liberated Atma or soul's love or prema for Krishna, the absolute truth. There is not a tinge of ego, selfishness, lust, envy, anger, pride, greed, or illusion. It is spotless. Shukadev Goswami, we know his story. He was totally liberated from any material desires or attachment while he was in the womb of his mother. And even the greatest sages throughout the world were assembled to Parikshit Maharaj's last 7 days. They all considered Shukadev so pure, so liberated, that he was the most qualified of anyone in the universe to speak. Shukadev Goswami, how he honors and worships this Ras Leela as the highest expression of pure love. In fact, he tells that anyone with sincere faith, and it takes years to develop this sincere faith, anyone who with sincere faith hears this story becomes completely cleansed of any materialistic, egoistic desires. That is the purity. And Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the crest jewel of all sanyaasis, he taught us that there is no yogis, there is no transcendentalists who have achieved such a high peak of spiritual realization as the Gopis of Vrindavan, who are simple cowherd girls, who simply know nothing but their love for Krishna. And Raghunath das Goswami, and Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, they gave up massive fortunes and beautiful families to live the most difficult lives from a material perspective of austerity. They slept under a different tree every night in Vrindavan. They would just beg for some dry rotis and chickpeas. Gopal Bhatt Goswami, did you ever see some of the places he lives? In Sanket, for years and years, he lived in an underground cave. You can't stand up. You have to crawl down into it. And then after you crawl, you could sit and your head's just touching and there's no ventilation whatsoever. And he would be down there just in the ecstasy of chanting the holy names and remembering Sri Sri Radha Krishna's beautiful pastimes. Raghunath das Goswami, how he lived, what was the nature of his life. He would just take a little leaf with some buttermilk on it once a day. And while he was drinking it, he was thinking, how condemned I am that I'm wasting so much time for my sense enjoyment. We cannot imitate that. These are the people who are telling us the purest, highest form of ecstatic love is the gopis. So with this understanding, they've already transcended all ego and selfishness and all material desires. It is Krishna reciprocating with them. And bhakti, Ravindra Swaroop Prabhu quoted Srila Prabhupada. He said that a definition of bhakti is cooperation. Now, on our level, you know what that means. Just to stop fighting. To stop arguing with each other. And param dristvani vartati, to unite on a higher principle, despite our differences. But on a higher and higher level, cooperation is no desire for any ego-selfish fulfillment. A complete giving of oneself for the pleasure of our beloved. That's seva. Seva means unconditional service.
You were listening to Radhanath Swami on thesacredconnect.com.